Space Invaders for Android Part 4. We just finished the check hits on Invaders, so what's next? The barriers, right. So the barriers get destroyed from either the top or the bottom, depending on if it's the invader bullets that are hitting it or if we're hitting it. I'm trying to see us hit it. Well, you get the idea. You know what happens. This guy's not going to hit from the bottom. So the approach to this is a graphical approach, really. If you take a look at the barrier, you'll see the barrier, one step at a time, one frame at a time, becomes degraded randomly until there's nothing left. So all we need to do when we hit the barrier is advance by one frame. The first thing that we're going to need then is a stop on each one of the frames, and you'll see that there is a stop on each one of the frames. Just pick another one randomly. So we'll be able to advance there and stop and hold it, depending on if it's got hit or not. That's the barrier. Taking a look at the code for check hits on barriers. I've actually got both parts where we and our bullet hit any of the barriers, or where any of the array of bullets shot by the invaders hits any of the barriers. And I guess we'll just have to wait until we implement the invaders shooting to test that. But for now, let's just look at how this works. It's more straightforward. I do have an alternative way, but I won't get into that right now because it's not as good as this solution. So basically, we've got to go through each one of the barriers. I think I have 5. And for each one of them, check to see if it's the 0th, if it's the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, has hit test with our bullet. And if so, what we do is we take that same barrier, barrier 1 or barrier 3 or barrier 0, whatever it was, and we take that particular barrier and go to and stop at that particular barrier, the current frame, wherever we were at, plus 1. So for example, let's say that it was barrier number 2, and it had been hit 3 times already. 1, 2, 3. That's where we would be. If it gets hit again, then we would go to 3 plus 1, which is 4. And it would go to there, and it would stop. And again, once we've shot a bullet, we want it back, so we take it back to where the spaceship is, and we prevent it from moving, as we've talked about several times before already. And again, the same sort of thing is going to happen with the invader bullets, but we haven't done the invader bullets yet. So, what's this one? Check hits on spaceship. Yeah, I think the idea is that you can get hit 3 times, and then it's game over. So let's just see. Check hits on spaceship. Right here. Right, so what have we got for hit tests against the spaceship and the invaders, or the spaceship and the invader bullets? You know what, I think we need invader bullets working before we look at this. That'll be the final thing that we do in this video. Let's look at the invader bullets being assigned and the invader bullets moving. The assignment of the invader bullets is for sure the most sophisticated part of this. If we watch this for a little bit, where should the bullets come from? First of all, it has to be, First of all, it has to be random. And they have to be originating from the last, or the bottom column of wherever they're coming from. They can't come from like in the middle here. It's got to come from here or here or here. So how do we keep track of which ones are still visible and which ones are at the bottom? Oh, I wanted to get it myself, but I guess I'm not playing. So here we go. I'll take it line by line. So at frame 36, the integer division remainder of 36 by 12 is 0, so we get how we do this. 48, the remainder of integer division with 12 is 0, so we get in. But for any other number that is not divisible by 12, we won't get in to do this. What's the first thing that we do then, every 12 frames? We increase the invader bullet counter. The invader bullet counter must have been initialized someplace. Here it is. It's initialized to -1. You'll see why momentarily. So the first time in, it's going to go to 0. We have to be careful, though. I will explain this next part. We have to be careful here, though, that we can't go with the invader bullet counter beyond the length, because we're going to use the invader bullet counter right here. We're going to use it as an accessor of the element. And you have to remember that, let's just find something here. So for example, if I take the array of barriers here, the 0th, the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, there is no barrier 4. There is no barrier 5 or 6 or 7, but there's not even a barrier 4, and 4 is the number which is the length of the array. Right? The highest element in an array is the length -1, in this case the 3rd. So if we ever get the invader bullet counter, which we're going to use as the element number, to be equal to the array length, that's a problem. We'll send it back down to 0, and we'll start to reuse the bullets. So we need to determine the x and the y value for the next bullet to be shot. The x is going to come from the column that we choose. Do we want to shoot from this column, or this column, or that column? We have 11, 0 through 10. So what we're going to do, first of all, is pick a random column by doing math.random, which returns 0 to 1, times the length of the array, which is 11. So it's going to give us a random number between 0, minimum, and absolute maximum 10. That's good. So a random number between 0 and 10 is what we've got. So then, with that particular column, we're going to get the x. And that x of the random column, doesn't matter what row it is, doesn't matter what row, because we could be shooting from this row or this row or this row or this row. We're going to determine that next. We just need to know the column for starters. So from that column, we're going to get its x, and we're going to assign that x to be the x of the next invader bullet that we're going to shoot. So now we have our x. And now for the y is like how deep is the bullet coming from here, which it should, or from here, or from here, or from here, from here, here, right? It can only come from those bottom invaders. So we have to do some way of looking down through here to know where the last one is. So we know our column. Let's pretend that our column was here. This is the random column that we picked, and we already know the x. So our bullet is going to be an x over here, but what's the y? So what we're going to do is we're going to have to loop through, down through that column until we reach the end of it to get the y. So y to use just an initial value, and we're going to go down through to the maximum number of rows, because it could be like down to here. That many times we're going to loop through. We're going to say if the particular row and the random column that we've already picked, if it is true that this is visible, then the y to use is going to be that random one's y. So this is a good example. This visible is true, so take the y. Oh, no, this visible is true, so take the y. No, change it to this visible because it's true. No, this one is still visible, so change the y to use to be that. But then we stop. And that y to use never goes beyond that one. And that y to use then is now the y to use for the invader bullet that we're next going to shoot. And that's just picking the invader to shoot from. So finally, with this particular line of thought, we need to move the bullets, and they move down, which is why we're going up. So let's find it. That's easy, right? Invader bullets moving, we loop through the array, and all of them go plus equals 10 downward. And we saw some other place where after they get down below a certain point, they go back up to the top again. So I'll just continue power through this and finish off the check on the spaceship of the invader bullets. Let's just watch it. now that we've got our invader bullets. And I'll just be a sitting duck here and wait. There we go. 1, 0. Oh, almost. Game over. And there's a little glitch at the end here, but it doesn't matter. When you put it on the phone, it works fine. You just quit your application, quit your app. So the last one, check hits on spaceship. It'd be nothing compared to what we just did. Check hits on spaceship is here. So there are actually two different things then we have to check. First of all, to see if the invader bullets are hitting us, but also to see if any of the invaders themselves are hitting us, because the invaders can run all the way down and they can actually hit us. And as soon as they hit us, it's game over. We don't just make the score to go down by 1. Does that happen in the game here? I don't think so. I think he wins. So if any of the invaders hit us even once, it's over. And that's what this says. Go through your invader array, all of them, and if any of the invaders hits us, go to and stop 3. What's 3? It's the game over with the stop frame. And the other thing then that this is doing is it's checking through the invader bullets array to see if any of them are hitting us. And if they are, then the bullet goes back up to top. The lives on stage, I guess we do have to slow down and take a look at this a little bit more. The lives on stage goes to the current frame plus 1. So what is this lives on stage? It's this. It's actually a movie clip. Take a look at it. Lives, I think, is what it is. And right. Boom. Boom. And then, yeah, I guess we only have 1, 2, 3 lives, in fact. And each one of those will have a stop as well. So that it just stays there until you get hit the first time. And then you go to frame 2. And, right, I see what I've done here. So I'm just saying if you go above, that's why I have the 4 frames. So if you go above frame 3, it means you go to frame 4, which means it's game over. So we remove stuff, which is here. And I don't even think that it's that necessary to go into detail with this. You just loop through all of your arrays and you remove child, remove child, remove child, remove child. That takes everything away. And you go to and stop 3 and it's game over. So I'll get hit 3 times and that'll be it. So I will have won when I have lost, and you will have finished this when I lose. 1, 2, 3, game over. Game over and tutorial over.